Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today is not an actual day. This is a mini episode of the L1 show. This is where we just talk about some of our favorite stories for the week.
Or our least favorite.
Yeah, it's usually least favorite because we tend to be kind of depressing, but that's fine.
We try to come up with a theme. Sometimes it's easier than other times, but this week we have a pretty good theme, which is the rules that don't apply to power, but do apply to us, and how they are often polar opposites in a pretty obvious way. So let's look at one government power that doesn't want oversight.
FBI Director Kash Patel abruptly closes internal watchdog office overseeing surveillance compliance.
So they don't want surveillance, but this is about surveillance. This is about FISA. So they're saying that, and this dude was famously anti-FISA before he became FBI Director.
And now he's like, but I really like all those tools.
And so now they're arguing, no, you're not allowed to have any sort of oversight on when we use warrantless spying. Warrantless. That should be a key word in terms of oversight. But no, they argue we can't have that. And to make it even worse, in the same week, we get this one.
Trump admin tells Supreme Court DOJ needs to do its work in secret. Because they're not really a government agency, right?
But wouldn't that argue that they should have no shield of secrecy?
Yeah.
If they're not a government agency? I mean, you can't have it both ways. Well, I guess you can. So the argument that they have here is that they're an advisory group to the president, and they should be shielded by everything he gets.
I don't think that's how that works.
No. It's not how it should work.
Not how it should work, and yet.
But it's also not how it should work that they can spy on us without a warrant.
And yet.
So here we are. And let's look at our lawmakers, who should be the ones that would fight against this. This is the check and balance against all that, right? Well, they're upset, but they're upset about a very specific thing.
Phone companies failed to warn senators about surveillance, Wyden says. Not surveillance of the public, which is you and me, but surveillance of themselves, which they are less happy about.
In fact, they made themselves a special rule when they set up that surveillance that would be okay for us, that's not okay for them. You have to let them know if they're being surveilled. And that wasn't happening, and they are super upset about that. And they're saying, how can surveillance go on for years without anybody telling us? Because you have to tell us. And that's weird, because if we head down south, there was another situation where it was literally illegal to surveil people on the street. And yet,
New Orleans used AI surveillance without public knowledge or full oversight. They solved crimes with this, despite,
solved.
Yeah.
Some real ace detective work here. Batman would be jealous. Actually, he has.
He probably would be jealous, because he'd be like, oh, I wish I had that tech.
There's more than one time Batman did this in Gotham City.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick about it.
I mean, that's his whole thing, though, right? Vigilante. Yeah. He's not beholden
whatever
to the laws.
It costs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
cops are not beholden to the laws.
Yeah, they did this for a very long time, and it was kind of the same situation, and nothing's going to happen about this. Now, the lawmaker one, that changed immediately.
Of course,
as soon as someone complained. This, so far, I don't think any changes have been made. And some of the spying that we've been told for years wasn't real. You are insane if you think this.
Conspiracy theory.
You're crazy for thinking this, and yet we all experienced it, and we had to ask ourselves, "Am I crazy?" Because it feels like I'm experiencing this on day to day. Well, here we go.
Is your tech listening? Apple settles claim for Siri eavesdropping. $95 million. They didn't deny it either.
They pointed out that in the bedroom, so this has to do with people who were sometimes a human will listen to it. It captures everything, and sometimes a human will listen to it to make the data better or whatever. And yeah, there was some sexy time. There was some bathroom time. There were a lot of arguments. And it was all being gobbled up, and you were being advertised to.
Are you interested in Beano? It's been listening to me.
Been listening to all of us. Now, they claim that they are not going to admit guilt, but they are going to pay that $95 million just to make this go away. Why would it go away? Why wouldn't we keep listening? But when the government wants to surveil you, they get to, and they can do the exact same thing that was happening there, but you just have to deal with it.
It's okay for them. Russia to enforce location tracking app on all foreigners in Moscow.
So that's going to be location,
Face.
probably the microphone. You're going to have to show them your face.
Yep.
And you're going to have to put your fingerprint in there.
Just to have the pleasure of walking around their city, I think I'll stay home.
As a traveler.
I'm sure it's beautiful, but I probably wasn't going to go anyway, but especially not now.
I don't know. At one point it was pretty cheap, right? It could be like a cheap vacation maybe.
I mean, you have to fly. For us, it would be quite a distance to get there, but
Yeah, I think I'm going to avoid
also, everything else going on politically.
I think world travel for Americans right now, probably a little hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get a good reception.
Yeah, and same way, if you're trying to come into the U.S., you might maybe not do that for a little bit.
No.
Anyway, this is the end of the little mini episode. If you want to see the full thing, you can check it out on the rest of the channel. We do these every week. Bye!